So I want to make a table centerpiece using some of the leftover fern. So I'm just going to cut a little piece of this, which is a fine density of the Oasis type material that you use for flower arranging. So I've just cut a thin slice, and then I've got a small piece, and I want it to go in this bowl. So just with a peeling knife, I'm going to cut this to size. Probably a bit too deep, so I'll probably want to shorten this. Oh, I can do this easily on this one because it's a bowl. So on this one I can just chop it across. This stuff cuts really easily, but just holds things firm. I think you can get two types. You can get one that holds water and one that's supposed not to hold water. And the first thing that I want for the centre of my Christmas centrepiece is a candle. Now I found these little candle spills in a little candle shop. These came from Barcelona, and they're just tiny little candle spills. I think you can buy these in any sort of birthday shop or something like that. It's a small piece of one of those. Don't burn this, obviously. This is just for show. I'm sure you could set light to your bits of polymer clay, etc. And I just pull the top of the wax off to expose the wick. Unfortunately, I've picked up one that the wick's not very central, but still, it's the right colour and the right shape. So I'm going to pop that right in the centre there, and that'll hold it nice and firmly. So what's the next thing I want? Let me think. Yes, of course, I'm going to want to put the greenery in. So let's take some of these bits of greenery that are left over from making a tree. And I'll find the smallest bits and snip the wire so it's not too long. I don't want it hanging out all over the place. And just pop some of these in there. It's got a nice bend on it, so here's another one. Don't need too much wire. So then while I was thinking about doing this, I was thinking, what are the sort of things that you put on a table centerpiece at Christmas? And I thought about all the spicy things like cinnamon and oranges and walnuts and things. And I'm doing walnuts later on as one of the projects, but I do have some ready in advance, so I'll put some walnuts in this one as well, even though I haven't so far done them, but you'll see them later on. So what you can do is make your centerpiece, and then if you're going to do the rest of the projects, you can add the walnuts in later. So try and cover up as much as you can of the greyness, although it's not an ugly colour, so it won't show up too much. You can stick some of these little bits that have no wire in them to fill in the gaps, and probably I should use a little bit of glue for these. This glue will dry white, so it'll look fine. It just uses these little leftover bits. It looks very attractive. I don't find any more wired ones that are the right size. Yeah, there's one. There, lovely. So now we need some more decorations, and a lot of people don't realise that one of the things that you can do with my orange canes is you can actually make wedges as well as slices. If you get an ordinary one, you can just make simple slices or half slices. Whoops, escape quite easily. Just like that, and they'll look very nice as well. But I just thought I would show you the wedge trick because it's quite neat, quite a neat little trick, and you can use it with cucumbers and eggs and tomatoes as well. So what you do is you take a short piece of cane, about 1.5 centimetres long, and stand it up and cut it right down the middle with your single-sided blade, carefully, because you don't want to slip off. You want it to go right down the centre. And then you take the half and you cut slightly inwards one way, and then that piece is discarded, and then you cut the other way inwards as well. And that makes the wedge. So every other piece is discarded. That way. That one's discarded because it's the wrong shape. And then in again that way. So I don't know whether I'll use the wedges. I think I'll use the half oranges. I think they're going to look prettier on this. So I don't think I'll use the wedges this time. But just thought I might as well show you while I was at it. So I'll use some half oranges on this and some cinnamon as well. So I need to make some cinnamon. So I've got some, this is Primo, I can't remember the name of the colour, but it's the lighter of the two browns. So I've got some of this, and I've rolled it out on my pasta machine as thinly as I can. And then I've stretched it out even further, so it's really very, very thin. And then what I need is a couple of pins. Oh, there's some. Just dressmaker's pins. And cut some of this colour. And you only need a little bit, like that. Tiny little rectangle of it, and wrap it. If you want it to stay even more open, talc it, but I'm stopping using talc at the moment because I think it affects my lungs a bit. So, and then roll it gently onto the pin, but don't press it down too hard. You don't want it too squashed. You need to see that it's a roll of something. And then the same with the other piece. I've made quite a lot of these already, and I've already baked them, so they're already ready. Just roll it onto a pin and bake it on the pin. So that's easy. So I've got some of these already prepared here. And I've just been down to my local shop because I'd run out of the sort of ribbon that you can tear up. And she's given me this, so a nice shout out to Maria in Campo Frio for this. I'm assuming she's called Maria, the shop's called Maria's anyway. And she wouldn't accept any money for it, so special thanks. So I need very thin bits, so snip and tear this. I'll go from the other end as well because it never goes off straight and it always has a thinner bit at the end. And actually you can use that, it looks quite nice, a little twirly bit. Right, so what I need to do is to tie some of these little bits of cinnamon together in pairs. I thought of doing it in threes, but they're too difficult to handle. So you take a couple of cinnamon sticks off their pins and tie them together. I've just remembered how I tie them together. First of all, make your tie, because if you don't, you'll never get them to stay together. Then put them in and then tie it round. Tight as you can, double tie it so it stays tight. And then can't always get this to curl, so probably best to just cut it off because they're a bit, the curls are a bit too, they're on scale really. So on the small bits, they're about the right scale. You can add those later, but so you'll need 2 or 3 of those, and you can add those to the side of your table centerpiece. Along with some bits of orange. You might want to use tweezers for this. Might find it easier. I've never used tweezers, so I'm not really used to it. I'm just starting to use them now as I get a bit older. So some oranges. I'll do another one of these while I'm at it. Just tidy this one up. Tie. Put those together and tie tight. Put a little bit of glue on. So they stay where they're put. Now have I even got room for my walnuts? I'll have a look. And here are my walnuts, ready prepared. And I'll just use some of the whole ones. I won't put the, oh, there's a half one there. It just look quite pretty actually. So you've just got to find a place to pop these things. I'm certainly not an expert at display, so there are people much better at that side of things than me. Anyway, I'm quite happy just to have a couple of walnuts on there. We don't need too much. Depends how big a display you're making. So those are the walnuts in there. And if you want any frosting, what I suggest you do is just touch the edges of your leaves with a little bit of glue. Just gently. And before it has a chance to dry, apply a little bit of this frost. Now, I'm sure I've forgotten to bring a paintbrush down with me, so I'm going to have to get a bit clever with it and just apply it gently with a pin. You can blow any excess off. As long as you're subtle with the glue, it'll only go where the glue is. Put a little bit more glue there, I think. And that should do it. So keep an eye out for the walnut project. That will come up as soon as my husband's new graphics card comes. We've got a bit of a problem with editing at the moment, so the walnut one is a several stage project, so it needs the graphics card to be replaced before we can do that. So I hope you enjoyed that little project. Very simple, uses up things that we've already made and things that I'm about to make. Very simple idea. Please carry on liking, commenting and sharing, and of course subscribing if you haven't already subscribed, because the more viewers we get, the more videos I can make for you. Thanks very much.